Making the following home buying mistakes can be so costly. In fact, making any of these mistakes on their own can cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars, but compounded, they are an absolute nightmare. So let me break them down to make sure that if you're looking to buy a home in the near future, you don't make any of these mistakes and cost yourself tens of thousands of dollars or lose out on the property that you want to buy. Hi guys, Ross Hardy from the Hardy team at RE/MAX Marketing Specialists, and we've been working in the Tampa Bay area, Spring Hill, Brooksville, Wesley Chapel, Hernando Beach for the last 20 years, helping out families just like you find their dream home. So whether you're 9 days away or 99 days away, there's never a bad time to reach out to us and get the ball rolling and ask any questions that you have. So definitely make sure to call us on the number below. You can look in the comments and book a Zoom session, or you can text, email us. It doesn't really matter. Just get hold of us if you have any questions. All right, now let's dive right into the content because I think this is super valuable. So please make sure you watch all the way to the end. Now, the number one mistake that we see people making when buying a home in Tampa is that they don't go ahead and do home inspections, or they don't do the correct inspections on the property. So let's go back a few years when the market was super hot. People were waiving home inspections all over the place to try and get a leg up when making an offer and make their offer seem more enticing. Now the problem with that is that once they got into the property and they started doing some renovation work, or they lived there for a while, they started finding a whole host of problems that were super expensive that could have been so easily avoided if they just did the inspections in the first place. Now the first and most obvious one that I want to talk about is a full home inspection. This is an absolute necessity when you're buying a home. It costs about $400 or $500 depending on the area and the size of the home. But they're going to go through the property from top to bottom. They're going to be looking at things like the electric to make sure all of the outlets are working, make sure they're tripping where they need to in the wet areas. They're going to go through the major systems in the house, so hot water heater, the AC, the appliances, and test all of those. They're going to inspect the roof and make sure there's no leaks in the roof or anything of that nature. They're going to check all of the plumbing to make sure there's no plumbing leaks and that the plumbing is up to code. They're going to test all the windows and doors. They're going to look for cracks and things that might fail safety measures. Now, needless to say, the smallest little thing can turn into a huge thing when it's left unattended. And if you haven't done an inspection, you're not going to know about it. So please make sure to always do a home inspection. It's pretty much a number one thing on our list when we go under contract with our buyers. And we have reputable inspectors that we've been using for years and years and years, who, while they're not going to make mountains out of molehills, are going to bring everything to the forefront, even if it's just a cosmetic issue, so that you're aware of it. But another problem with inspections is not that they're not necessarily doing a home inspection, but it's not just a home inspection that you want to get when you're buying a property. No, there's a number of other inspections you're going to want to take a look at as well. So I'm thinking WDO inspection, that's wood destroying organisms, where they're basically looking for termites and a few other things as well. If you have termites on your property, and I will tell you, in 20 years, there's probably only been about a dozen or so cases where we found termites in a WDO inspection. However, the remedy for this can run into thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So you want to make sure, for the sake of spending like $100 on a WDO inspection, it's money well spent. Setting the bait traps or fumigating, treating, like I said, can be thousands of dollars over several courses of treatment. So why go through that headache when it's such an inexpensive inspection to get done? And it's not just those 2 inspections that you want either. Depending on the age of the property, the insurance company is going to require what is called a 4-point inspection to make sure that it passes all of the standards for them to insure the property. So think plumbing, electric, roof, and then major systems. Now, if anything fails on this inspection, it's going to be very difficult to get homeowners insurance, or you're going to pay a very inflated price. So anything that appears on a 4-point inspection is normally able to be worked out pretty easily with the seller, because this problem is not going to be unique to you. Nearly everybody's going to get homeowners insurance, so this is going to be a recurring problem for them if they don't get it addressed when it comes up in the 4-point inspection. And then you can have things like septic inspections if it's on a septic, well inspections if the drinking source particularly is a well. You might have specialists come in and do pool inspections or something of that nature. Make sure you speak to your real estate professional about which inspections you should order. Some of them are mandated by the lender. However, the number one mistake we always see that costs people money is that people don't do the right inspections. Now, another potential issue that might cost you a lot of money when buying a home, and number 2 on our list today, is not shopping around for your mortgage. Someone might just go online and click on buttons for Rocket or Wells Fargo or something like that, get their pre-approval and assume, hey, we're great to go. A common reason why people might not look in other places is because they don't want their credit to be hit, but there is a grace period once your credit is pulled where it can be pulled multiple more times for a minimal or no effect on your credit score. So you'd be remiss not to take advantage of that and shop around a little bit. Now, while the difference of 0.25% might not sound like much on the surface, compounded over the period of 30 years of the loan, it can make a huge difference in the amount of interest that you're going to pay. And then the second thing that you should be looking for when you're shopping around for a mortgage is the closing costs. So yeah, somebody might be giving you a slightly better rate, but what they're not telling you is that your closing costs are going to be higher than maybe another lender where you're essentially paying to buy down the interest rate. So make sure you look at it holistically and make sure it's the best deal for you. Again, your real estate agent can help you here, but this can certainly cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the course of a loan. Now, number 3 on the list is going to be not correctly budgeting for any repairs or renovations that you need to do. Now, we've seen over the last few years, especially since the pandemic, that the cost of doing repairs has skyrocketed. And it may be that people are not exactly aware of what it costs nowadays to do things. So if, for example, the roof needs replacing, you might think, well, that's no big deal. I did one on my other property 6 or 7 years ago. It was only about $10,000. Well, I've got news for you. Today, that might be closer to $16,000, $17,000, $18,000, and all of a sudden, you're caught in the cold when it comes to expenses on repairs or renovations. So we always recommend that you get somebody out there to give you quotes before you move forward in the transaction, and especially before you close on the deal, because it might not be what it was when you did it previously, and it may end up being significantly higher than you think. Another factor that's adding to the cost of a lot of these things is the recent storm damage that we've seen here in the Tampa Bay area, where supplies and contractors are in very, very high demand and short supply at the moment. So be sure to do all of your homework to make sure that you're not getting in above your head and that you're aware of the costs of repairs or renovations that might need to be done to the property that you're buying. All right, guys, so if you're getting value from this video, please be sure to do a couple of things. Please like the video. Please leave a comment below and let me know what your home buying experiences have been. I'd love to hear a horror story of yours. Not that I wish you have one, but just so we can inform other people. And then be sure to subscribe to the channel so you get kept up to date with all of the latest videos we release. You can also hit the notification bell. We're always releasing new videos about things to avoid to waste money when you're buying or selling. We're also doing pros and cons videos, costs of living, as well as featuring beautiful new homes in the area. Like I said, you can reach out to me and my team at the number below. You can set up a Zoom call, you can text, you can email. We're here to help whenever you need us, and we're in the background when you don't. Now, number 4 mistake that we see that costs people money when they're buying a home in these areas is not using a real estate agent or not using a knowledgeable real estate agent. Now, of course, it's easy for me to set this one up, right? It's what we do for a living. However, let me tell you, we hear some horror stories on the other end of deals for situations that have cost the other side tens of thousands of dollars that their customers might not even be aware of, that would be easily avoidable and would not happen under our team. I've seen situations of other agents not understanding certain clauses in the contract and costing their customers thousands of dollars. I've seen agents do things like miss deadline dates on the contract for financing or inspection periods and end up putting their customers' escrow deposit at risk. We want to make sure that we're not doing all of those things. And in the current climate, in the light of the NAR lawsuit settlement, buyer agency is a big, big thing now. So you're likely going to have to sign an agreement with a buyer broker agreement prior to seeing any properties. Make sure that you do your research and that the agent that you're using has experience and is able to navigate these situations with clarity and guide you through the experience if you're not knowledgeable in real estate yourself. We have over 350 5-star reviews on Google. We're Google trusted Zillow partners. We've been there, seen it, done it over the last 20 years with 2,000 transactions. Please reach out to us if you have any questions. And then finally, number 5 is kind of tied into not having a great real estate agent, but just basically not understanding the current real estate market. Now, we're in a really weird period at the moment where half of the people think we're still in 2021, that's the sellers, and other people thinking we're in 2012, that's the buyers. We have buyers who think they can lowball everything and steal it, and sellers thinking they have something that can't be found anywhere else and they can still get top dollar or over asking price like they could before. And the truth is that the real estate market's very, very fluid and it's very, very regional. So when you're seeing news on TV about how the real estate market is doing A, B, or C, realize that might be on a national level, not on a state level, or even more importantly, a hyper-local level. Now, my background was in accounting, so every single Monday I'm taking a deep dive into the statistics for the market over the previous 7 days. I'm looking at how has the average days on market changed. I'm looking at how have things like the list to sell price ratio changed, because if we see a sudden dip in the list to sell price ratio, that means properties are more open to offers, and we want to take advantage of that. One of the most glaring errors that I saw people make when the market was super hot was not understanding that they're going to have to offer above asking price in most cases. So what did they do? They said, I'm going to stick to my guns and I'm just going to offer the list price. Well, the problem is that for a while there, the list prices were going up 3 to 4% per month. So 4 or 5 months into it, all of a sudden they find themselves paying 20% more for a property than they would have done if they just went a little bit over asking price in the first place. Again, make sure you have a good knowledge of the market. I will tell you that Zillow does a great job of aggregating data, but you can find it pretty much just by Googling it. And be sure to ask your real estate agent the important questions about the market conditions and have them explain it to you concisely. If they struggle with this part, they're maybe not the agent for you. It never ceases to amaze me how people will entrust hundreds of thousands of dollars of their money with people they don't ask questions of. If I was putting my money with a financial planner, I'd be asking them questions about the market before I did it. So always feel free to reach out to us about the market. I'm an absolute real estate nerd. I love talking about it, and I'd love to explain it to you. So guys, I hope you found that useful for the 5 home buying mistakes to avoid when you're buying in Tampa, Florida. Like I said, any one of these can cost thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars, but when you start combining them, it's a nightmare scenario for you. Thank you so much for watching the video. Like I said, please like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, stay safe. I'm Ross Hardy from the Hardy team. It's time to love where you live.